Today on Movie Tales, we are talking about one of my blind spots in cinema. Oh my god, I know. I haven't seen this movie before, and I was in the mood to be upset with myself. Not in like a bad way, just like it's time to feel again. I need to feel again. I need to have a sensation wash over me that's like, you're doing okay. Maybe just remember like what life could be and like the joys of nostalgia and cinema at large just moving you. So I watched Cinema Paradiso. I have not seen this movie. It's always been on my radar. It's one of those ones where I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get to that eventually when I'm in the right mood. It just so happened to be the right mood for me where I'm like, it's time to just get in there and experience that. I know how it was going to make me feel. I know exactly how these types of movies make me feel, so you have to be in the right mindset to really get that. And I know who I am, and I know like there's going to be people maybe watching this review who are like, oh, that didn't move me the way it moved you. This is the thing that works for me. I always feel like that connection to cinema and how like an audience reacts to it and experiences it. And when there's a movie about that, I always love that. And I just kind of like a self-insert character of a director or a person who's talking about like their experience and how it led them to who they're becoming. And I am a sucker for an old man just telling a kid like, you can't stay here. There's more for you to see. Don't make the mistakes I did. I fall for that every time. I fall for it all the time. I just love it. And this one, oh my God, did it fuck me up? I was bawling at the end of this movie, just in shambles. Just in shambles of just how poetic and nice it is. This isn't anything fancy. You know, I think there's some cool camera tricks where we like focus in on certain things when we like move around an audience that look really cool, but we're just experiencing a movie with people who are having emotions and stuff, and it's not anything I haven't seen before. This is one of those movies where you can see the influences that it's taking from in cinema, and you can feel the influences of cinema later that are taking its cues from this movie. And that's a really good feeling, because it's just so nice to see. We're in a small city. Is it like a town? I think it's like a small village. It's a Giancaldo. It's in Italy. And we are following Toto. He is this young boy, and we kind of follow his journey, tracking him from 3 points in his life when he's like a child to when he's like a teenager to when he's a full-blown adult. And his connection to this town and the people that inspired him from it. It is so lovely and nice and a really beautiful thing. This movie opens up with old Toto, and he is in bed with his, I guess it's his girlfriend at the time, and his mother calls and he finds out that Alfredo has passed away. And Alfredo is a person in his life, not his father, but someone who was a father figure to him when he never had one, has passed away. And then we see the recounting of his life leading to the man he's going to become. And I'm a sucker for that. Like, I get hit with the nostalgic stuff of like, man, just things used to be so different. And I'm from a generation, I'm a zillennial. I'm from a generation that's just, there's technology everywhere. There is a rapid advancement of stuff, but there was never like just a community feeling. Like the world's kind of a little more scared of itself when I was younger. But you just see this is a community. It's close. Everyone knows each other. Like, that's the crazy guy that screams in the town square. We just let him do his thing. You know everybody. Everybody knows you. There's not much to do. So you go to the movies. My goodness, did this film just give me a sense of nostalgia for a time when cinema was something I never saw. I was never alive when cinema had this feeling, when going to the movies felt like this. It's been so nice to see that and just have that experience of like, this place is crowded. There's people just standing up in the aisles. Everyone's just in their own zone watching this thing, experiencing at the same time. Because what else are you going to do? This is a generation of so much content and so much stuff occupying your time. But just in the 50s, what do you do? There's nothing to do. You go watch a movie. That's your entire week. It's so nice to see that. And every single time there's a packed house in the theater, I was just excited and it made me smile. Because you don't get that anymore. Just seeing the old school landscape of how we used to do films. I know that the director Giuseppe has talked about like, this is kind of like the end of this era of, you know, classic theater or theatrical experiences and what comes of the modern time, especially in the more modern timeline of the piece. And Toto is this kid who is just obsessed with movies. He loves it so much. He meets the projectionist and just wants to look at film. He keeps little like pieces of the film to like play with and talk to. God, I love film. I don't get to talk about it nearly enough, but I love film. I haven't spent a lot of time with it. I did take like a photography class when I was in high school where you got to film on film and that kind of stuff. But that was more like still photography. The whole process was so exciting to me. I was not in like the perfect space to learn. I don't think that class was perfectly organized and nobody there really cared. But just the concept and the preparation of that is awesome. And just seeing old projectors and stuff, things I have been able to play with a couple of times in my time, I love it so much. There's just like this beautiful nostalgic where you just know the projectionist. You're like, hey, dude, it's out of focus. Dude, it's not lined up properly. It's like this beautiful thing where everyone just likes you for that. And it's so pleasant to see that. And the projectionist in this is Alfredo, the guy that helps Toto find out who he's going to be. And it's so lovely. A nice guy. It's like, get out of here, kid. You're annoying me and stupid. But he sees like, this kid can only think one way. This kid only thinks in movies. It affects his life. It almost burns his house down. He can't focus in school. He only thinks in movies. So when you see that, it's like, okay, I think I can help this kid find his direction if he's going to accept it, which is beautiful. And my God, it's just so nice to see that, the quiet moments where you just see, Alfredo is a key player in this town. He's like, no one else can do what I do. I feel like I provide them with entertainment, and that's like the key thing. The thing he's instilling into Toto is like, you want people to be happy when you're around them. You want them to feel sad or romantic or any of those things. Like, they're important things to experience, and I think you can do it. And all the stuff when, Toto was like a kid, it's really interesting. It does end on a very tragic note where they're like they're playing like a film out onto the streets of the town, and people are just excited about it. And then the projector gets caught up in flames, and the cinema starts to burn down. And Alfredo's trapped inside, and Toto can't get him out. And Alfredo loses his sight. He goes blind. And I was like, no, we got so much movie left. What's gonna happen? But then it ends on a really nice note, and you just see like Alfredo's okay. He comes back, he touches the face of Toto, and that's how we use a transition to show the middle version of the story, which is Toto as a teenager, which is the age I'm the closest to out of any of the timelines here. I get this so completely. Like they trust this kid to literally watch the projector to become this thing because this town needs it. There is a specific rich person in the town that helps rebuild the cinema Paradiso, so he builds it up, and it just becomes an entirely new experience. It's a different vibe than like the classic one that they had early on, but it's nicer, it's more pristine. It's showing you that this town is evolving and things are going to evolve with it. And it's just beautiful. It's just like a beautiful story. And I'm just like, look at this. Like, we're just watching this kid experience life. He meets a beautiful girl, and it becomes this problem. Like, what is your passion? You love movies more than life itself, but this girl is gonna control you. Early on in Toto's life, that was the dilemma of like, he is supposed to be like an altar boy, part of the church, but he's fascinated by movies. The concept of movies becoming a religion is very apparent in this movie, and something I love to see. A lot of directors have that experience where it's like, I could have gone down the religious rabbit hole and become obsessed with that. You see that with a lot of directors. And then it's like you learn about movies and filmmaking and the magic of cinema. That becomes your religion. It is a tale as old as time, and it's something that's really cool to see. I love when that happens. But then we meet Elena, this beautiful girl, and, Toto's in love. For as much as time he is the projectionist and he's like falling down that rabbit hole too, he loves this girl, and he spends time with Alfredo still. And it's a really pleasant, nice experience. You'll love seeing their chemistry. This is the story of Toto and Alfredo. Like that is just what we are doing here. That is what this is about. This man trying to show this younger generation, like, you can wait for this girl all you want. Maybe she won't come to you, and maybe you'll realize you shouldn't be waiting for her, which is kind of a story we see played out in here. But the stuff happening in the middle of the story, like the teenage years, it does go like, okay, he's got to go do his military service. We brush over that quick because he doesn't care. That stuff leads to the piece of knowledge that Alfredo wants to instill on Toto, which is you can't stay here. Like, you have a mind and a gift that needs to see more. It's that thing where it's such a poignant line, and it's one of those things where when I was hearing, I'm like, this is so true, and I get it, because I do this all the time. You think your whole world is your town. It's where you're from. It's where you live. You go away for a year or longer or even shorter, and you come back. As long as you're away long enough to forget what things are, they're different when you come back. And it doesn't feel like this is the whole world anymore. It just feels like a place that is unfamiliar. And I love that. And that is what Alfredo's trying to tell him. Like, you went away, you saw the world. This can't be your whole world. You have too much to offer. You cannot be a projectionist your entire life. You have a gift for cinema. You have to pursue it. And it gives me one of my favorite lines of the movie, which it broke me. I had to take a minute and be like, stop. Stop hitting me where I know I'm feeling it. And Alfredo's just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want to hear other people talking about you. And I'm like, fuck, man. That's a really good line, and it's something that is going to push Toto to the next level. And that helps him decide. You know, he went away, he saw the world. The girl he loves didn't wait for him. He's got to move on. That next step is leaving, going to Rome, and figuring out what it is. And that is when Toto leaves, and that's the last time he sees the man who gave him everything he is today. And when he gets on the train to leave, like, the relationship with the mother is important, but we don't dwell on it too much. What's important is the relationship with Alfredo. And he's just like, you can't come back here. You can't talk to me. If you try to come back and talk to me, I'm not going to let you in. You can't be blinded by the nostalgia of this place. You have the whole world to find. You have to go find it. It really messed me up. I'm like, damn it. I'm getting upset thinking about it, because it's just that perfect thing that a lot of people experience. It's like, you have something you have to share, you have to do, you have to believe in, you have to attempt. You can't be weighed down by these things that you love. If they love you so much, they'll let you do these things. And that's the last time the two of them are together. And it's a powerful story that leads Toto to becoming the man he is, to where he eventually returns home after 30 years to come to the funeral. And that end scene, it's such a good ending to this movie. Just him coming home, seeing, the Alfredo's wife and his mom and these people are like, he loved you. He thought about you. You meant so much to him. He loved talking about you. I'm like, damn it, that's what he wanted. It's so nice. And when he's an older man now, and he's seeing the people in his life that affected him when he was younger, the man who owned the cinema just being like, I couldn't keep up with it. But look at you. Like, you worked for me and now you're this successful man. And that messed me up too, because we've been focused on the relationship with Alfredo for so long, we forgot about the guy that owns the cinema. And you're just like, damn it. Look at these emotional beats that are happening. And everything's working. And Alfredo left him a film reel that he can watch and he can experience. And it's all of the clips that he had to cut out because the pastor at the time was like, we can't have kissing. So this movie ends with the grown-up version of Toto just watching all of these clips from classic cinema of these couples kissing or being erotic in some way. And you're like, this is what it's always been about. The love of movies is the romance he didn't have with Elena. It's the thing he had with Alfredo that brought them together. It's these intimate moments that are only shared on the screen. And even when you're the only one in the theater, it still has the same impact as when it's a full house. And I'm weeping at this point. I'm like, God damn it, this is too good. I can't believe it took me so long to get here, but I got here and it was delightful. It's a great movie about movies. It's a great coming-of-age story for this guy realizing who he has to become and the people along his way that got him there. And the choices he made, he wouldn't regret any of them. It's really beautiful, and it's such a pleasant time. My goodness. I really dig it. I really dig it. I think it's a strong movie. I'm glad I saw it. Cinema Paradiso. It is definitely something you have to watch. If you still haven't seen it, this is me telling you to do so. I'm going to cry. So thank you all for watching this episode of Dramatic Tales. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. We'll see you at the movies.